keeping the joy and the love of our plants going at this time of year. This week, we're doing a little bit of propagation. Many of us will grow our annuals, which we absolutely love. The problem with them is, after having sown them and grown them, after 1 year, they are gone and that's it. However, we also have many perennials. However, here in the UK in Zone 8, some of the plants we grow we treat as annuals, but they are in fact perennials as well. And the best one that I can think about is our peppers, whether they are chili peppers or sweet peppers. We do treat them like annuals because we just don't have the climate. We're thinking they come from Americas, and that means that we can't keep them going. But there is a way, and that is propagation. Now, when we come to propagation, there's two different types. We have our soft cuttings, and then we have our hardwood cuttings. Sometimes we might have a little bit of a mixture in between. Now, when it comes to our peppers, we are actually looking at soft cuttings, and soft cuttings can be done in a variety of ways depending on the type of plant that you actually have. If we think about something like our tomato plants, they are annuals, but if we want to sort of grow some more, if we're taking off those little side shoots, we have the trichomes on there, and it's well known that they can actually become roots in themselves. Now, something like basil, which is really not hardy, but we can be propagating some of that at this time of year, all you need to do is just pop it into some water, and it will actually root from the base of the stem that you have cut. But when it comes to our chilies, and quite a lot of our other sort of woody cuttings, whether they are edibles or ornamentals, there's a few things which are very, very similar that we need to take into account. So the first thing really is that we need to be looking at a nice, fresh, green stem, which isn't too hard or woody, because actually what we want is we want that soft stem. Now, if we've got some fruit or some flowers on that stem, we will need to take those off, because if we start to try to root any of our cuttings and it has flowers or it has fruits on, all it's going to do is try to sustain the life of those fruits or those flowers. And basically, plants will actually go to flower, then go to seed, in order to avoid dying. And then obviously we can keep the seeds as well. But we're going to sort of jump the gun a little bit and make it a bit easier for next year with our chilies by having them already established, rather than starting them all off over and over again come January. So all I'm going to do with this stem is I'm just going to cut just below a node. Now, a node is basically where you have a little join. Now you can see I've actually got a chili pepper on this one, and I am going to take that off, and then I've got this foliage here. Now again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim off those leaves, because I don't want those leaves. What I do want is this little area here, because this is where I'm going to start to get some of my roots coming out. Now again, I've got another chili here. I'm just going to take him off. I'm going to keep hold of them. I've got a bit of a cold, so chilies will be quite good. And these lower leaves I'm also going to remove. Now again, the reason for removing those lower leaves is because if I have too much foliage on here, then it's just going to keep on trying to maintain the foliage rather than putting any effort into that rooting. And I can see I've actually got a lovely little fruit about to appear in here. I'm sorry, fella, you're going to have to come off as well. Now you can actually take a lot of these leaves off. If you have something bigger and you're doing, say, a hardwood cutting of, say, a hydrangea, what you might need to do is actually just trim some of the leaves by literally cutting them on a slant in half like this, so that they still have some of the foliage on there. However, it's not going to be taking too much energy to maintain that foliage, and it's again going to focus on that rooting. Now, there's again a couple of ways that you can do this. You can, for some cuttings, actually propagate the roots in water, and that's what I've done with my basil, and they've actually gone quite mad. The other way is actually to use rooting powder. So all I'm going to do with this is dip this into some water, shake it off, and then I'm going to dip it into my rooting powder. Now once I've actually dipped it into my rooting powder, again I'm just going to shake off the excess because I don't want too much on there, and then just in a nice big pot, I'm just going to pop it into the soil and just push it down around the edges. Now what I can do, because I have quite a few different varieties of chili peppers here is I can do quite a number of cuttings from one plant, put them in the same pot, and then I'm going to replicate it and do it in the other pots as well. That way I should have quite a lot of beautiful chili plants going into next year, which means I don't have to start from scratch, because actually I really love the varieties I have this year. So propagating, there are quite a few things that you can do, and if you are looking for your soft propagation, then actually chilies are a really nice one. I may have these in the greenhouse for now. As soon as it gets really, really cold, they are going into the house.